Hello, in this video you are going to see the new set of array filters introduced to Liquid on February of 2025. These filters are the following. Find, which returns the first item that matches your condition. Find index, which returns the index of the first item that matches your condition. Has, which returns true when the array includes an item that matches your condition. And then we have reject, which returns an array without the items that match your condition. So now let's go to Visual Studio Code and see these filters in action. For this, I will be running a local copy of Dawn. So over here in Visual Studio Code, I have already run Shopify Team Dev to have my theme run locally. And now let's go to the theme editor over here and let's add a rich text section, which will be the section that I will use throughout this video to showcase these new filters. So let's save this. And let's maybe add a couple of new blocks over here. So let's add 2 more headings. Let's add talk about your brand 2 and talk about your brand 3. And as we have on here, let's give this an index of 1. And let's also change the label of different to maybe something like normal. Let's save once again. And now let's go to Visual Studio Code and start using the new filters. Now from Visual Studio Code, let's go to rich text.liquid and let's scroll to the bottom over here to see the different blocks we have available. So we have a block of type heading, which was the one we added. We have block of type caption, a block of type text, and a block of type button. So let's go to the top over here. Let's add a comment and let's say find filter. So let's start by using the find filter. And let's say that, for example, we wanted to find a heading block. So heading block, and this will be equal to section of blocks. And we're going to use the find filter over here. And it receives 2 parameters. So first of all, we have to specify the property and then the value of this property. So heading. And now, if I try to print heading block, that's settings, that heading, which is the property that contains the value of this heading, let's go over here, and you can see that I get talk about your brand 1. And the reason I get talk about your brand 1 is because once again, as we hover over this find filter, we can see that it returns the first item in an array with a specific property. So it will not return all of the typed heading blocks. It will just return the first one, which in this case is this one. If we wanted to return them all in an array, we will use the where filter, which has been around for a while, and it will behave roughly the same. So we will have to specify here the property, then the value, and then it will return an array with all of the items in this array that match this condition over here. And before this filter was added, if you wanted to have this exact behavior, we will have needed to write some code like this. So over here, I am iterating through every block in section of blocks, and if the block.type matches heading, then I am assigning that block to the variable heading block and immediately breaking out of the loop. So we get only the first heading block over here, exactly like the find filter is doing. As you can see, this line over here is much shorter than trying to do this. And if I save this, and over here I access settings of heading, we are going to see that these both return the exact same thing. Next, we are going to see the find index filter. So I am going to copy this same line because it is very similar to what we did with the find filter. I am just going to replace the word find here with find index, but the parameters are the same. So in this case, what I am trying to do is to find the index of the first block of type heading. So now let's print this and let's change the name of this variable. So heading block index. And let's save. And over here, you see that I have a 0. That is because this is exactly the first block and it starts at index 0. If I wanted to check, for example, the index of a button, I will replace this with type button. And now we get a 2 because that is the second item counting from 0. So we have first the heading, then this block over here, and then the block. And before to do something like this, it will be with all of this code. So once again, looping through all of the blocks in section.blocks, and we check if the block.type is button, which is the one we were checking over here. And if it is, then we assign the value of for loop index 0 to this variable over here, which it is heading block, but could be bottom block index. So let's change that. And over here, we're going to see that in both cases, we get a 2. Next, we are going to see the has filter. So over here, let's print whether section.blocks has a block type heading or not. So if I save this, over here, we see true. And if we add an s over here of type headings, we're going to get false because there is no block of type headings. So this filter is very simple. And before to do something like this, we will have needed to do something like what I am doing in this for loop over here, where we start by assigning has heading to false, and then we loop through all of the blocks in section.blocks. And if we find one that has a type of heading, then we assign has heading to true. And we print the value of has heading over here. And in both cases, we get true. And if over here I were to change has headings, we are going to see that now we have false over here because this section has no blocks of type headings. Next, we are going to see the reject filter. So this one does the opposite of what the where filter does. So in this case, let's create a variable over here, non-heading blocks. And what we are going to do is section the blocks. And we are going to reject all blocks that have a type of heading. And now let's print over here non-heading blocks the size, and we should get a 2, as you can see over here, because out of all of the blocks in this section, only these 2 are of a type other than heading. Now, one limitation that is important to know is that at the moment of launch, these filters do not support nested properties. So let's see what do I mean by this. So for example, let's say that I wanted to check whether we have a learn more button or not. For that, you would think that I just need to replace the property name over here from type to settings.buttonLabel, and then the value from heading to learn more. However, as this is a nested property, we are going to see over here that we get false, even though we do have a learn more button, as you can see over here. And if we were to do this at the top instead, in the way that it was done before by iterating through all of the blocks, I just need to change this over here to be settings.buttonLabel and the value to be learn more. And we can change the name of this property to has learn more button and paste that here as well. We are going to see that in this case we get true. And the reason for that is because by doing it this way, we are able to check for nested properties, but by using the has filter, we are not, because nested properties are not currently supported. There is an open issue in the official Liquid repository maintained by Shopify to add support for nested properties in array filters, but at the time I am recording this video, this feature is not available yet. And there you have it. These are the new filters available in Liquid. They don't radically change the way we write Liquid code, but they offer some nice quality of life improvements in some scenarios. So if you found this video helpful, remember to like and subscribe for more Shopify related content, and I will see you all in the next one.